offices, and I'm here with Michael Gigante and Regina Borsch, all from Dominion Licensing.
Hello, everybody.
And Andrew Fessenden from Corporate Risk Management is also with us, not in person, but also on the phone.
Okay. I think we're about ready to start the call. And before I give introductions, is there anyone else on the line? Today's call?
This is Erica Gray, Richmond, Virginia.
Hello, Ms. Gray.
Mute off.
So we're...
Mute on.
So we're getting ready to kick off today's public call. It's a Category 1 call. I'm going to go over a little bit of background, and then I'll just ask for everyone to identify themselves. We've already heard from 2 members of the public. So for today's call, we were going to discuss the recent REI 01-6 dealing with financial qualification issues. Dominion has provided a draft response to that REI, which we have included in today's discussion for today's call. It's a Category 1 public meeting, so at the end of the official proceedings of the meetings, we will invite members of the public to ask the NRC any questions you may have. So I'm Michael Udy. I'm a project manager for the North Anna 3 licensing application.
I'm Ruth Ann Murray, financial analyst.
Eric Rivera, financial analyst and NRR.
That's it for us, Dominion. Keith.
Okay, in the Glen Allen offices here with me, it's Keith Miller on the line, Michael Gigante, Gina Borsch, all from North Anna 3 Licensing, and Andrew Fessenden from Dominion Corporate Risk Management is also on the line.
Okay. If you could send me an email with those names, that would be great. Keith, I would appreciate it.
I will do that.
Thank you. Okay, so Eric, I would turn it over to you if you have any. Basically what we're going to do is we've taken a look at your response, and it includes a written response and then some proposed answers to the questions, and then some COLA markups. I see that you're going to put in some license conditions in your Part 10 of your application, which I believe you're slated to submit the latest revision to us by the end of this month. So with that, I would turn it over to Eric if he has any comments on what you've given us.
Good afternoon, everybody. I took a look at what you submitted and appreciate your efforts. And I am specifically looking at the REI's responses. I'm looking at that document. So when you look under the bolded heading 10 CFR .113, appreciate what you did there. That satisfies the requirement. The letter from A&I helps with that, so that's acceptable. I did have an issue with the very next bolded paragraph that starts with the 10 CFR 140.11 alpha 4. You're correct that when you amend the original insurance that already exists to include Unit 3, that does meet the requirement for 140.11. It does meet the primary requirement. What it does not state is that it meets the secondary layer of financial protection, and that is usually solved by including a license condition that is similar to the one provided for 50.54W. So what I have done is actually edit it the way we have in the past. Now that you've proposed that, I can go ahead and kind of amend that language. So there's actually, it'll be basically 2 license conditions combined into the one that's written for 50.54W, which basically states that at the time that this is required, or at the 52.103G find-in, or the time that you guys are authorized to initially load fuel, you guys will provide proof of the secondary layer of financial protection. So that will help solve the issue for 140.11. And then moving on to the next bolded section here, 10 CFR 140.21. That was acceptable. We made a couple of tweaks to the language, basically to satisfy the lawyers here. They have preference on word usage, but the meaning and the essence of the license condition remains the same. Mike has stated that he'll forward these updated conditions to you so you can review them and have a chance to state whether you agree or don't agree or have any questions. And then finally, looking down at 10 CFR 50.54W, this one was satisfactory, and the only changes I made is what I stated earlier, which is I went ahead and wrote it to include 14011 and 5054W.
This is Mike. Before you have any questions, I want to read this license condition.
Go ahead.
So, Keith, I'm going to go ahead and read this license condition that you had proposed with respect to 5054W. The new wording that the staff is proposing is as follows. Before the scheduled date for initial fuel load, Dominion Virginia Power shall provide satisfactory documentary evidence to the Director of the Office of Nuclear Reactor Regulation or designee that it has obtained the appropriate amount of secondary financial protection pursuant to 10 CFR Part 140.11A4 and the appropriate amount of financial protection pursuant to 10 CFR 5054W. So those are the changes that the staff is proposing for that license condition to address what Eric was talking about for the secondary insurance.
So the only difference is the addition of 140.11.
I guess we'd open up the floor to Dominion. Do you have any questions on what we've stated to this point?
Did I hear that you were going to send the proposed wording? I tried to jot it down. I was a little slow, but did you say you were going to send that wording after this call?
Right. I would send you that wording, and that's essentially the wording that we're going to be putting in our advanced safety evaluation.
Okay.
As you know that's the point in our evaluation where the staff proposes license conditions, and I understand that Dominion is trying to get these license conditions in the latest and greatest into your next revision that's coming later this month or next month. So I would just go ahead and forward you these so that way you can incorporate them into that revision, and if you decide to send in a revised final response to the REI that includes that.
Okay, that's great, because we had every intention of including those two license conditions in our COLA submission that will come before the end of the month.
Right. So I'd like to go ahead and I think the other license condition that he had referred to, the one about the different methods that you could use to satisfy 140A and 140.11A4 for primary, the 5 different types of methods to satisfy. I think that there's a slight tweak in that language. It's the latest and greatest that the current applicants that we're working with that we're using. So we're just going to go ahead and send you what not much has changed. I think it's just a couple of minor edits. I think instead of you saying the licensee, we're going to say Dominion Virginia Power.
Okay.
I don't know how I've never seen the license conditions for an approved one to see if if it's referred to the licensee from that point forward or not. But I would send you that as well. I don't think there's much of a delta that I can see, but there might be a little slight wording changes.
So those were the slight wording changes.
You could take a look at that. If you have a problem, you could let me know, but I don't see any. I mean, I'm looking for the delta myself, and the only one I see is just that we designate who the licensee is.
Okay, I understand that. I'm looking around the room here, and I don't think that any of us here in the room have any questions on that language that you described. What I'd like to do is take a look at the file you send, Mike, and get back to the staff with a final decision from us.
Should we ask Andrew?
I'm going to jump in here and ask Andrew a question too, because we're not in the same room. But Andrew Fessenden, do you have any questions? Do those proposed changes make sense from a risk management standpoint?
No, yeah, those are pretty direct. So I'm okay with what they have to say, and we can take a look at it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that staff, we might also recommend that in your response itself, under the bolded section 10 CFR 140.11A4, you might want to include some discussion about how we resolve the secondary issue in the license condition. Because as it's worded, it doesn't really address anything other than primary, I believe.
I agree.
Right. So you might want to go back and tweak up some of that language. But it sounds like we have a pretty clear path forward, and you can let me know when you think the final response would be in.
Okay, we still intend to meet our initial commitment to you to have it to you before June 17th. So we will ideally have it to you much before that.
Unless there's a major change, I don't think our staff, and Eric, you can let me know, or Ruth, I don't think we need to see the next response other than it being final. I don't think we want to go through another round of draft iteration. That doesn't sound like to me.
Right, yeah.
That's useful.
If you guys don't change anything, then I think we're okay.
Yeah, as long as there's no...
Okay.
Want to ask some questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was just going to. We also while we're doing all this, we're going to have to update your indemnity agreement like we discussed last time. I know we sent you the originals that we had. You agreed that's what you had. And now we're kind of taking a look more in depth, and here to discuss that is Ruth.
Yeah, there were two questions that we had. The first was we wanted to confirm the address. It hadn't been changed since the original agreement, 1976. So I just want to make sure that you wanted us to use the 120 Sedagar Street that's found in the application. The current address for the indemnity agreement is P.O. Box 26666, Richmond, Virginia, 23261. So I just wanted to clarify the proper address.
Okay, I don't have that paperwork in front of me right now, but I can verify that and get back to you, Ruth Ann.
Oh, terrific. And then the other question that we had is on location. Just to ensure that we're properly taking a look at the footprint, we would be asking you to verify a map for us, and then what I'll have you do, since you don't have the paperwork in front of you, is have you review the location in the original indemnity agreement so that we can agree on how to ensure that the unit number 3 is included. So we want to make sure that we're capturing the entire footprint. So I'll let you take a look at that, and then if you have any questions, you can get back to us.
Okay, so just to make sure I can recap it, you need the address for Dominion Corporate, if that's changed from the original indemnity agreement. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and second piece, map of the footprint for Unit 3 to ensure that the Unit 3 footprint is within the Units 1 and 2